Okay, today I'm joined by Siang Tiong, General Manager for Southeast Asia, Kaspersky. I will be speaking to him on how safe is your business during COVID-19. Welcome, Siang Tiong.
Hi, Sharon.
All right, let's start. COVID-19 actually has caused tremendous disruptions, right, globally, forcing millions of people to work from home. In your opinion, do you think there's an influx of cybercrimes towards businesses and employees? Especially, they are not prepared, and employees working from home, I'm sure the home networks would not be as secure. Right, and the devices also, right? So can you actually tell us your thoughts on this?
Okay, so yes, definitely the attack surface is much wider now. You imagine your office network now extend via the internet into your home, into your devices. Some people may be using their own devices.
Yes.
Right? And then they are using their own home router, which may not be properly protected. So certainly the attack surface has increased. A lot of people are also in fear. They will be reading up. They will be more attentive to COVID-related news. These are behaviors that are changing very fast. And some companies, most companies, I will say, especially the SMEs, are not ready for it. We have actually seen an increase in occurrence of cyber threats. Right? Just Southeast Asia alone, we see 834,000 phishing attacks.
All right.
Okay.
Of course, that's wow, that's a huge number. Yeah.
Malaysia alone, Q1 last year was 90,000 attacks. Right? This year we saw 132,000.
Oh.
So it went up by 45%.
Wow, spiked up. Tremendously. Yeah.
And those phishing emails that we saw was very related to, very trendy, related to COVID-19. So there are emails purporting to be, say, from WHO. There are emails pretending to be the government giving instructions. There are emails giving you promises of vaccine or updates on the vaccine and all. So in all forms.
How would you know actually whether we have been compromised? Like you said, that because they are using the COVID-19, to actually penetrate.
So they are using. So let's say just talk about phishing email alone. So just phishing email alone, we have seen all different ingenuity. so a few things that generally for end user to watch out is, like, number one, if you see an email with attachment, be a bit more careful. Attachment that ends with exe, strict no. Okay, attachment like documents, .doc and all, and .pdf can still be malicious actually.
Okay.
All right. So anything with attachment, your guard should be a bit up. Then look at the email ID. We actually published a report sometime earlier. We have seen emails pretending to be WHO. But if you look at the email ID, it ends with who.int instead of who.org. Sharper, you probably will catch this. So, of course, the first line of defense is the person himself. Right? And then the second line of defense is the processors that the company have and all that. The third line of defense is technology. So the person, if he is watchful, maybe out of 10, he can block. He choose not to click on all 10, or he can identify 9. Okay? So that's a first line of filter. Second line of defense is the processes around things, right? So, like, for example, companies have processes, companies have security policies that will ring fence such things. Right? So this process is the next line. And the third line of defense is, of course, the technology that resides on your endpoint, your devices. That will be the last line of defense to make sure that it doesn't penetrate. Yeah. So all we always talk about people, process, technology. Now all this needs to come together. It is no different, even if you're working from home.
Okay, but you see, businesses are I mean, of different sizes. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe a bigger size would have the budget to actually invest in something like a good cybersecurity system. Yeah.
Right.
But what about smaller companies, especially now? I mean, times are not so good. Okay,
Yeah,
so their main focus is to actually sustain their business. You see, so I'm sure on cybersecurity, there would it be the last thing on their mind, you know,
I mean,
to invest in?
It will not be appropriate if they don't have that cybersecurity awareness in terms of when it comes to investing. There are some basic hygiene.
Okay.
Basic hygiene, like making sure that your home devices are protected, change the password and all that. This doesn't take cost. All right. Basic hygiene, like awareness of the employee, it doesn't take much cost.
Okay.
All right. Basic tools like an endpoint protection software that resides on your laptop. It comes at a minimal cost, and these are minimum things that a company needs to have. Right. Of course, if you move up the hierarchy, you will still also need tools to give you the early signals, right, on where you're being attacked and all that. And yes, you're right. Some companies may not have the capability or the investment appetite for such things. Okay? So then they can either outsource to a company who is more appropriately adept at such things. And usually such companies will be able to defray the cost because they have a large pool of customer. At the end of the day, security needs to be a part and parcel of everyone's presence. Right? The company has a lot of data. If the data get compromised, it leaked, get locked up, or get compromised, they actually suffer.
Okay. Okay. No names mentioned. Any companies during this period has actually have their business data been breached in Malaysia? Just say Malaysia lah.
There will always be companies who get attacked. This is like a daily occurrence.
Their security is breached, right? How do you address it?
So when the security is breached, there are a few aspects of things that a company will need to take note. First, if the security is breached, it means that the breach point that you detect may not be the only breach point. Right? The less sophisticated one, that is the only breach point. The more sophisticated ones, the breach point could have shifted. Right? The more advanced required persistent attacks, those can be remotely controlled. So the breach point that you saw, the symptoms that you see, may just be the tip of the iceberg. Okay. So then there need to be some proper tools and processes and even external help to help them identify. So there are services like incident response services. When people come, external consultants, professionals like us will come in and help to hunt this down and clean it up.
Okay.
Usually such situations you will request for external help. Yeah. The less serious cases like ransomware and all that, there are also places that you can go to ask for help.
Okay.
Like we actually published, for some ransomware, we actually published the decryptor key, so people can get it for free. Right? Of course, attacks like these, the first line of defense is still the tools that's residing in your environment, be it on the device, on your data center, or the tools that is there actively monitoring or hunting such threats. Generally, if a company gets attacked, I would say, back to your question, when a company gets attacked, first, don't panic, get help, and try to clean up. Right?
Okay.
The other aspect, especially for bigger companies and more notable companies, actually the PR aspects of it is also very important. So there's a lot of things that a lot of people actually overlooked.
Okay. So, people are doing a lot of virtual conferencing, virtual meetings, webinars. How safe are these online tools? I've recently there was a big news on Zoom, right? Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Okay, so tools are tools. At the end of the day, tools are supposed to help you with your productivity. So video conferencing tools are not new.
Okay.
Right? And as in all software tools, basic hygiene, update. Right? Zoom actually, that case, they came out with the security patch very quickly.
Okay.
Question is, do you patch? Not everyone patch.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So these are basic hygiene. Yeah? You patch. You keep up to date. And the other advice I will give to a lot of people is most companies actually have a gazetted list of video conferencing tools that the company is comfortable with. Their IT has gone through the due diligence to make sure that the policy is consistent. They even have some companies even have a strict IT policy such that some IT policies are actually pushed down, right, to the devices and all that. Then stick to those tools because you know your IT have your back.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So these are, I would say, basic 101 of using all software tools. Yeah, every software tools will have at one point or another they will have discovered some bugs. You got the patch.
So how do you identify the bugs then? Is there an indication that your system is has been compromised? Yeah, it's been breached.
That actually possibly. So two angles. Whether your system has been breached or not, usually the detection software on your device will be able to tell. They will first block and then they will tell you. Then the second, but at the vendor side, they keep up to date. Right? Most vendor has a bounty program. Like if you were to find some bugs, they will reward you. So there are a lot of ethical hackers out there who will help this company improve, and the company will pay for such discovery, such that they will quickly patch the holes. So this is actually a known practice in the industry. And of course, they themselves are also, most notable vendors are also on the lookout for new security occurrences, breaches and all that. And then they will find whether they have such a problem, right, in the tools that they use, and they quickly follow up. So these are all, I would say, part and parcel of the software production chain.
Okay.
Most software vendors, they do it. They have that. Yeah.
Okay. Like a basic user like me. Okay. I wouldn't have a complicated cybersecurity solution in my device.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing something work related, what more can I do? How can I prevent the prevention? It's more like it. Yeah, the prevention.
Okay. So back to that three pillars, right? So first, you yourself, the awareness. We actually have free online courses to teach people, especially during this COVID period, right? How to take care of yourself, the digital hygiene and all that, right? So this is the awareness part. Process. Actually, you're not alone. You're part of a working organization. Your organization is the IT department. They have your back covered actually, right? So they would have security policies. They would dictate what security software to use, what are the security policies, some form of a end device management, management and control software, right? And most companies will require you to VPN, encrypt the whole channel into the company network so that the company is not compromised. So VPN is another tool that most companies should have. Right? So that secures the communication channel. So in case if your home network gets breached, at least the communication channel between you and the company is encrypted. Right? So that's the technology side. So there are a few things that that can be in place, and most people, they are not alone because there's always an IT department behind to watch their backs. But of course, the personal effort to maintain the hygiene is important and to be on the alert.
Anything in store for Asia Pacific? I mean, customers, anything new in store from Kaspersky?
More communications with our customers, with our partners. They already in stock. Right?
Okay.
In fact, the R&D engineers are more productive at home. No delays in our software release timelines and new products that we are launching. So yes, so this year we actually introduced quite a number of interesting products like our sandbox, our EDR, and all that. Yeah. So these are new products that we keep reinventing and we keep leapfrogging. Yeah, ourselves and our competitors.
Were they specifically tailored for this COVID-19 period, or was it already in your plans?
Put it this way, the COVID-19 is a difficult time for a lot of people. But in terms of technology-wise, it didn't change the technological landscape too much. The only thing it did was it stretches the network. Okay? But whatever software, whatever security that you need to put in place should have been there and should continue to reinforce that. Right? So I would say COVID has caused a lot of difficulties for people in trying to follow up with the security posture, in trying to follow up with the process. But in terms of the availability of the solutions, it's still there. It's just whether companies keep up with it. Yeah.
I mean, hackers, they are very agile. Okay, I mean, so since earlier you mentioned they are also taking advantage of this situation now, right, to actually breach systems. So,
yes.
I mean, how sophisticated are their breaches? I mean, are the current solutions that the cybersecurity solutions that Kaspersky has, is it enough to actually address these breaches that these hackers are coming out with, I mean, during this period?
So we have a team of researchers that is constantly watching and going after the organized crime groups. We have a team of researchers that constantly look at what are the breaches and then put up the right defense mechanism, right? So you can see that we have the full solution to prevent simple viruses, malware, Trojan horses, all the way to the advanced persistent threats that is a lot more sophisticated. But the reality is the world is evolving. As vendors add codes to their software, as vendors improve their product, that means we have more to protect, right?
Okay.
So we will see lapses in other vendors, right? They may not be security vendors, they are OS vendors. There are networking vendors. There will be new vendors.
Okay.
Even existing vendors, they will keep upgrading their software, and as they do that, we will see gaps. All right. So that's part and parcel of the everyday's life. So it is a forever catch-up game, right? And that is the reality. But of course, there are solutions that we can put in place to make sure that we keep up to date. The situation is not because we are not keeping up to date. The situation is we are producing the solution, but the people are not up to date with the solutions.
Okay.
It's always a catch-up game, right? So, but you cannot blame the companies. At the end of the day, it's a ROI thing.
It's investment.
It's how much you want to invest versus how much risk you want to take. If you think about it, cyber security is a form of the risk that you take, right? So it's how much you want to invest versus how much risk you're willing to stomach. And therefore, we see that in the bigger organizations like banks and all that, they spend a lot more because they cannot stomach that kind of risk. It will never be enough. I can give you the best tools, but do you want to spend this much versus the risk that you're taking? So you will have to assess.
Yeah.
So that makes the security a lot more interesting, right?
It's true. I mean, small, like I mentioned earlier, small to big companies. I mean, the last thing they want is their business to be destroyed, right?
Yes.
all these cybersecurity breaches and so I mean, like, okay, what can you advise them? Okay, for small companies, how much should they invest?
There is no magic number.
There's no magic number.
There's no magic number, right? So there's just a pecking order in terms of hierarchy on it.
Okay, all right.
So invest in people, awareness and all that. So I was mentioning to you recently, we have tools we have made our awareness course for free during this COVID period. Because we know a lot of people are at home, they have more time to learn, but at the same time they are more susceptible to attacks. Okay, so invest in the people. Education awareness is a constant thing, and that needs to happen. The next things that needs to invest in the IT, in the tools, and in the process. And it's just investing in the tools, the technology, is also investing in the process. A lot of IT companies, IT departments, they procure the technology, but they never have the right process to utilize the technology. That is also not too right. Right? So, like for example, you may have security. You may have purchased the technology to protect all the devices, including your servers and data center, but you do not have a centralized security policy, or you never tighten the policy. Right? So that's a process lapse.
I think maybe that's the reason why, I mean, as for smaller businesses, that they are a bit apprehensive to actually, to do a proper investment, So unless like Kaspersky, you have like a package, like, a solution that, okay, with just this, we can assure you that it can do so much, So so it gives them an option that, how much are you looking into, say like your ROI, you're saying that, are you willing to actually, invest in so much, or you want a smaller package, but you still do the same job?
Yeah. I would say security is like in rings of defense, right? You think of your data as your gold nuggets, your gold ingots, and then you put your physical perimeter around it, right? So how many rings is enough? So that one you got to answer yourself, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's a function of how many gold bars you have there, right?
Yes, it's true. It's true.
So no one can answer, and no one has a perfect answer. So that's the reason why we constantly are in conversation with our customer, right? To tailor to them, right? So depending on your appetite today, it may be two rings, and then tomorrow, as you grow your gold bars, it may be 3 rings. And all this conversation is always ongoing. Yeah. So there's, at the end of the day, there is no magic pill. It's how many rings you want to put it. Like just a very simplistic analogy, I would say.
Has Kaspersky's business been affected? I mean, globally, all business segments have been affected. So I will tell you a
lie if we are not affected. The reality is some companies are holding back their purchases.
Okay. So their priority is not on cybersecurity at the moment.
The priority to them is conserve cash, because the churn of the cash, right, is important for the survival of the business. So we have seen that kind of excruciating behavior. Right? It happens. So we help in our little sense. Like I mentioned to you, the awareness courses are given free.
For how long?
For 6 months.
For 6 months. All right.
Yeah. We have also given our Microsoft O365 security for free to SMB for 6 months. So this is our little way of giving back to the society. Right? I mean, yes, numbers will come down, and it affects everybody equally. Right? So our way of giving back to the society and to show the SMBs and that we are still with them is things like this that we can do. Yeah.
So what is the terms and conditions to? I mean, you say you Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, that's really good.
Yeah.
So I read recently that Mr. Kaspersky, I mean, in Russia, he has rolled out an online accelerator, right, for startups funding, is it, for
Yes.
developers? But it says that it's open to all startups throughout the world, but the focus must be in Russia.
I
What does
don't
it?
think so. Okay, so frankly, I don't have the details.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the details, but I do know we have some form of venture startup kind of environment, and the idea was to work with them to such that they can gain exposure in cybersecurity stuff, and they can gain exposure to our customers and all that.
Thank you so much, Siang Tong.
Thank you.
Thank
Stay
you so
safe,
much.
okay?
Yes, thank you.